Losers Bracket Podcast, round 116. This week we have a ton of esports news to talk about. We'll be joined by FourthOracle, making up for what happened last week with his internet. We've also got some huge MLG news, going to be talking League of Legends, of course, with Fourth, and some other big news that's dropped this past week. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about the Diablo contest that we just actually extended right through vVvGaming. As always, got the co-hosts, got LordJerith looking snazzy with his new vVvGaming shirt on, and then also got Kurt KeyHunt Carter from Check 6 Gaming. Gentlemen, as always, I want to start the show out by asking you how you've been since the last episode. Kurt, what's going on in the world of Mr. KeyHunt?
Everything's going well, busy weekend. We had Red Bull this past week. Not feeling too good this week, so I'm sorry if I'm being all quiet and stuff, but I suppose that'll be a change for the week. So I'm sure, Jason, you'll love that. You'll actually get a little bit of a chance to talk, so we get to hear your sexy voice more.
Yes, I like that. And Jerry, love the fact you got the updated picture. I like it. Maybe one of these days we'll get you on video. I'm hoping we'll get there, but I really do like you in the new shirt. Looks good. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm fantastic. I am more and more interested in talking to corporate America about esports, and it's been very phenomenal over the last couple of weeks, especially in DC and other places, when I get kind of downtime to just chat about esports sponsorships and what they look like. So it's been really good. And there's a lot of news, too, so I won't say much more than that so we can get on to everything we want to cover.
Definitely. So since FourthOracle had a little problem with his internet derping out on us last week, I figure, why don't we bring him in as a guest host for the week? Because, hey, he's here. Might as well make use of him. I'm going to bring him in this conversation right now so that he can introduce himself to you. We're going to try this out again. So let's see if this works compared to last week. Fred, are you alive, my friend? How are you doing, buddy?
Hello and welcome to Summoner Herald, the Losers Bracket edition. I'm FourthOracle, and this time I'm joined by LordJerith, Paradise, and KeyHunt.
Oh.
See, he actually lives his life that way. I think a lot of people think it's just something that he does, but that's actually how he engages everyone. Imagine having him in class answering questions like, "So, Fred, tell us a little bit about what you did last night."
Well, back in 1942, I heard that Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and then
No,
exactly.
that was horrible.
I'm sorry.
No,
That was really bad.
Kurt, I didn't think you were going to talk. Shut up. So, Fred, for those that don't know, for those that don't know who you are, please, for those that have not watched Summoner Herald, give us a little bit of info. Who is FourthOracle, this man with the beautiful locks of hair flowing down his head? Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I am an English major in college right now with a writing minor. That's what I want to do professionally. Gaming-wise, I'm in the League of Legends team for vVvGaming, and I make a show called Summoner Herald. It's basically a resource that I always wished was there, but never was. It's basically just all the news over the past week for League of Legends wrapped up into a nice, 3.5, 5-minute format, delivered hopefully entertainingly. Yeah. That's...
I like that. I like that. Very succinct, very wrapped up, just like your episodes. I really enjoy what you've done so far with the show. Really, my favorite so far is definitely episode 2. I love the fact you included the videos of the glitched, Singe flashing around the screen, just killing everyone with his poison. Really good times. Any plans for the show in the future? What have you got rolled up your sleeve, my man?
Well, I want to do more with the show. Honestly, right now it's pretty limited. It doesn't. It works for a smaller audience. It works for a small audience right now. It's not for a wider audience because the wide audience, most of them do go to the news sites. But right now, it's made for those few people that don't want to deal with it, don't want to deal with the hassle. Sometimes it's really obnoxious trying to get all the news that you really want, and you have to go digging for it. And the whole point of the show is getting that, but not everyone cares. And so, what I want to do is I want to get some guest hosts on. And I hopefully want to do some specials where I get pro players and interview them about what's been going on. I know that I don't want that to be the main fare, though, because well, there are already a lot of shows that do stuff like that, and I want to do something different, and I'm still working out exactly how I want to do that.
That sounds cool, though. Really appreciate the effort that you put in so far, and I look forward to seeing what you're doing in the future. I say, let's get a little bit of news out of the way so we can start discussing some of this, and then we'll get into some League of Legends a little bit later on with you, Fourth. Because, honestly, there's a lot to talk about with MLG Anaheim next week. We've got the summer season that just got announced today. MLG is going to be at E3 next week as well. The KESPA players at Anaheim. You just announced the Spring Expo where they're actually doing the KESPA players in their own tournament. There's a lot to discuss. So I think let's start things out with something that has a little bit of League of Legends rolled into it, the summer season. The first details of that were officially announced today. There are going to be 2 arenas for MLG during the summer season, but they will not both be StarCraft. Only the first will be StarCraft. That'll be July 20th through 22nd in the New York City offices, just like before. But the second arena, that will be officially a League of Legends arena, announced today. So I like the dance you're doing down there. I agree with that. That is going to be quite exciting, to say the least. And then, of course, summer will wrap up in Raleigh, North Carolina, August 24th through 26th. Kurt, League of Legends. You are addicted, you quirky player, you. So is this announcement of an arena... He is. Is this announcement of a League of Legends arena a step in the right direction? Is the right idea? Do you think one StarCraft arena, one League of Legends, the right way to go? What are your thoughts?
I think getting rid of one StarCraft arena is a good way to go. Now, whether League of Legends is the best idea to go with that, I don't know. I suppose we'll see. I think it is. I think they'll probably be able to translate the numbers pretty well into something. I do worry about the pay-per-view aspect. I wonder how well that's going to work. But I hope it does. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. What I can say is that what I'm more curious about is I wonder what MLG thought of the numbers for Arena 2, for Spring Arena 2. If I know that wasn't like the main reason behind this decision to switch to LOL, I know it wasn't, but I'm just curious if they were happy with the numbers for Arena 2 or if they're not. Because they're not, that kind of proves that having those 2 arenas in the same sort of time period won't work out as far as the way they want it to. I'm just kind of curious. I would love to hear the numbers, how many subscriptions they got or whatever. Just because that's what I'm more curious about. As far as the LOL arena, I also have heard, if you look around, it's sort of hinted around the fact that it's not going to be completely pay-per-view. They've hinted around to that fact, at least, on Team Liquid Thread when they announced it and stuff like that. So we'll see. See how it works out.
I remember reading on Twitter, actually, that the League of Legends arena would be free to watch with a $5 HD pass, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that unless someone has a source. I believe that is the case, though. I remember reading that on Twitter. And I don't know. I think that that's a really good idea. I do think that it kind of points to maybe 2 arenas for StarCraft is a bit too much. I don't know if it's... I mean, they made profit, right, from the pay-per-view. They already said on Twitter, hey, this is good. This proves it's viable.
Well, they said that, just so we're clear, they said that about Winter Arena 1. Right. Not Spring Arena 2 and Spring Arena 1. So we don't know about Spring yet. I think Spring Arena 1 did well as far as their numbers go, as far as I understand. I'm not sure about Spring Arena 2. I don't know. They haven't released anything or really said anything much about it. And the numbers were a little bit lower. You could tell that just by looking at Twitch stats and stuff like that. So, yep. But what I am, another thing I'm curious about, though, too, is that the StarCraft community, once again, is going to be pissed. if and I don't think they are, to be completely honest, if they're having the LOL arena where it is free and then they'll do the $5 HQ pass or whatever, I think they'll have to do something similar for StarCraft. And I could be completely wrong, but I really think
StarCraft community will live.
I really think they will. I think
make way.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is too is the StarCraft community doesn't want to be the only one paying for MLG. They don't want to They don't want MLG support on the backs of StarCraft kind of thing, which I somewhat understand. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see, in my opinion, I don't see MLG being able, not necessarily being able, but I don't see them doing it. I think for the summer or summer arena events, they'll figure out some way to try to balance it out a little bit more.
Well, FourthOracle, you're really into the League of Legends community. What are your thoughts on this new MLG news? I mean, I saw you doing the dance before. I can't do it anywhere near as good as you did. But what are your thoughts on this new announcement?
Honestly, League of Legends is... I mentioned it in one of the Summoner Herald episodes. It's honestly just turning into a juggernaut. It's ridiculous. Like, the game has grown in the esports community a ridiculous amount for how short of a time it's been around. I mean, StarCraft, it's gone to where it is now in like 12 years. Right now, League of Legends already has a massive viewership and a massive playership after 3.
Right.
Honestly, this doesn't really surprise me that much. I was going for a while just like, when is MLG going to pick up League of Legends? When are they going to do it? And then when they did it, it's just like, it's about freaking time. I don't know. None of the news really surprises me. I feel like I more feel like it's about time sort of thing more than anything else.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, to me, and this is kind of to Kurt's point here, I kind of feel like with the numbers that League of Legends is getting for tournaments, and we don't know as much news about Arena 2 in the numbers, couldn't League of Legends trump, a second arena? When we just had one StarCraft arena, maybe if we throw in a different variable in the mix, we'll get some more people into the mix. I guess that makes sense. But
I get what you're saying. Like, the circumstances might be right that they'll get that many viewers. I don't know. Like, honestly, there are too many variables that I still don't think that League of Legends is going to get more viewers than Starcraft II, just because Starcraft II still has the larger player base, and there are a lot of factors, but I just think that Starcraft II is still too big for League of Legends to start getting a larger viewership. It's just not quite big enough in the esports world yet. It's getting there, though. Riot is doing all they can for it to get there. That $5 million prize pool that they have coming up for Season 2, that's ridiculous. What it tells me is that they're really feeding it as much as possible. And with them doing that, I think that it's possible that League of Legends will eventually trump in views, but not yet.
For MLG, I want to clarify, since things that IEM and things like that have already gotten more views just from over the course of a weekend tournament. Things like the infographic they released recently where they said, a League of Legends tournament over the course of a weekend gets more viewers than the average MLB baseball game got last year. I think the infographic said, 2.4 million people watching a League of Legends tournament over the course of a weekend. That's insane. Jerry, wants your opinion? What's your thoughts on the new summer season and the League of Legends arena announcement?
So I think in this case I'm really biased. I mean, I've always been a bigger fan of team sports than I have of individual sports. I mean, I'll watch tennis. I like golf, but not as much. But that never compares to me the enjoyment I get out of football or, hockey, which are the two sports I like the most. I also like soccer. So League of Legends for me is like just a sort of finally kind of thing. I think that the chemistry between players and the drama that occurs on teams, and I don't mean the high school drama, but I mean moments of motivating each other, demotivating each other, what it is to play a team sport, to me, by every account, that to me, to Jerry, is much more interesting than single-player games. So, so for me, I'm not saying this as a general rule for everyone, I would find League of Legends way more interesting than StarCraft. And I think that it's true what FourthOracle just said. If you look at League of Legends, it has not been nearly as long as StarCraft. And I don't know. So again, this is just me, but playing Diablo III, Blizzard looked a little, I don't know, less than impressive. And all of a sudden, Blizzard felt stale. So you take that and you add it to the fact that MLG is going to have soundproof booths for 5-on-5. Riot adding a lot of money. Riot adding a spectator mode that's simply amazing when it's working 100% of the time. And, well, I mean, I think, some asshole out there is going to say, you don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't fucking always work. I know. But it's there. So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I can't imagine, and this is, again, my opinion, I just think League of Legends is going to destroy everything else. Once esports starts to cover the news, I mean, you need to wait for... So right now, that all the other esports organizations have invested a lot of money in Starcraft, and they're kind of pew-pewing League of Legends because it's expensive to get into. You can own 1 or 2 Starcraft players, and, one of the 5 in your fucking group is going to make it, right? Like, 5 Starcraft players, I can get 1 to be in the top 8, League of Legends is a lot more expensive. No. Say again?
No. I would like to disprove that right now.
Well, some organizations
sending 5 LOL players to an event that even if they do shit, is probably still worth it more than StarCraft right now.
I'm just saying. I don't listen. Because here's what's going to happen, right? FourthOracle is going to get somebody to say something bad about the show, and I'm trying to be as nice as possible because FourthOracle's a nice guy, and I don't want I don't want any of Destiny's trolls to haunt him or something, and then, he feels unloved. So I'm trying to say that, look, I don't know. I can't imagine why anyone would want to watch StarCraft over League of Legends. To me, team sports are just way better to watch. Individual players doing amazing things. The chances for those amazing moves is greater. Plus... Again, this is probably going to get some people to disagree with me. This is generally speaking, I find that when you have to every day work with other people, you tend to be a little bit more charismatic, a little bit more personable than someone who doesn't. I always find famous football or baseball or hockey players way more personable than your average tennis star or even let alone your golf star. So I'm just saying that to me, if I had to choose who I want to go drinking with, it would be a League of Legends player over a StarCraft player. Any day of the week.
Just want to
So again, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, right? I don't want to get into Jerry said that StarCraft sucks. I'm not saying that any more than I'm saying tennis sucks. I love tennis. It just, to me, League of Legends is the better game for many, many reasons.
All right, let me hop in here real quick. Hold on one second, guys. I want to just show this because I just brought this into the stream. Here's a part of the infographic that Riot released. This is the total unique viewers for live streams from different events over the last year. Okay? The average Major League Baseball game broadcast got 1.449 million viewers in the 2011 season, right? The lowest a tournament got that's on this infographic is IEM Gamescom, which had 1.6 million unique viewers during the tournaments. The highest was 2.284 at IEM Kiev. That is absolutely insane.
But Jerry, let me ask you a question. Can we talk shit about this infographic without directly talking shit about League of Legends?
Yeah. I think that's absolutely possible.
Because this infographic is fucking stupid. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's fantastic. But I can't stand this. And I very rarely talk about it, but I really can't stand this whole vague numbers game that is being played by absolutely everyone right now. I just don't get it. I don't understand the reason behind it, but it's so transparent to anyone that's paying the fuck attention. Like, I'm just curious as to where these numbers come from.
Okay, what, Kurt, you're right. Well, let's get down to it.
And once again, I'm not talking shit about League of Legends.
No, you are so right. You know what? I think I'm just going to say it. Nobody gives a fuck how many people are watching your stream. You know what number I want to know? Show me the fucking revenue. Show me how much money you made on that stream, right? Big deal. 9 million people watched your fucking stream for 6 hours and you played one commercial. Woohoo! Or, right, I can have half that amount, watch half that amount of time, and run 5 commercials and make 5 times what you made. So these numbers are the numbers, yes, they are a gauge of interest. I will note that they are that. But which is, to Riot's point, why they needed to add the spectator system they did. None of this matters until we start monetizing. We've got to show me the money, right? And we got to get corporate America to buy off. And to be honest, I feel pretty good about talking to corporate America. I think they're interested in ways that might be different than what, EG or Complexity may look at it. But I think corporate America is definitely interested in the way Major League Gaming is looking at it. And how they monetize that and how they get eyeballs on screens and all of that. That's not to say that what EG does, like with its Masters Cup, isn't actually some good content that will also draw. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes to corporate America, they all fall in line. And to give you guys an example how this works, when we want to launch a new product for or even better yet, we're going to have a new advertising campaign for one of our products or a service or something that the magazine offers, we'll target a company. And let's say that company's Oracle. And we know as soon as Oracle falls, all of Oracle's competitors will get on board because they don't want to be left behind. Major League Gaming's got to kind of do the same thing when they go out there for their strategy, right? They got to pick, and I'm talking about big players. No offense to Razer or SteelSeries or Thermaltake. That's a niche audience. They're good businesses. I love SteelSeries. I'm sure Kurt, you love Thermaltake. But we're talking about the thing that's going to make people careers and make investors money and make it an industry. We need the big people. We need the Visa, the MasterCard, the McDonald's, the UPS, FedEx, whatever. We need the big major organizations, Verizon, AT&T, to come play. And I think we'll get there, but I think it still will take time. And as a note, somebody said this the other day to me. It was very interesting. They said, why is it that Google and Amazon and Epic Games and everybody will play after hours for charity, but they won't get together to sort of support competitive video game leagues? And I thought it was an interesting question. One I didn't have a quick answer for, right? And maybe one of the audience members or someone who's a lot smarter than me can tell me. But I did find the question interesting. Why do all the top tech firms, from Amazon to eBay to Facebook, all play StarCraft in an after-hours league for charity, but none of them seem to be advertising partners for competitive leagues like IPL or Major League Gaming? And I thought it was a fair question. So yes, Kurt, coming right back around to your point, you can tell me how popular Day 9 stream is. You can tell me how popular these streams are. And they're a gauge of something. They're a gauge of interest. But at the end of the day, are you able to monetize it? And that's really, at the end of the day, to me, what counts, not just the views.
Yeah, just as a note, real quick. League of Legends is huge. I think the MLG decision is great. I want Riot to release a little bit more concrete numbers that I can actually substantiate, and that's not just from Riot. That's from tournaments too. A little bit, let's get out a little. We've done enough of this, to quote Live on 3 here, this fluff. Let's get down to some actual brass tacks, and let's look at maybe consistency rates. Like, how many of those, 2.2 million that view your stream over a weekend, how many of those people actually consistently watch? That's the thing with StarCraft, is that the numbers between the hits and the numbers between the people watching aren't that different, or unique hits, aren't that different. People are consistently watching it, or are people just sort of checking out to see what it is and then canceling it out. I know the numbers are big. I'm just curious as to what that rate is, because that rate in the end is where we all need to be looking at, is how many people are actually consistently watching this tournament stuff. And as far as the tournaments, like you said, what are they making? What kind of revenue are they making from this? On a quick side note, too, since we're talking about revenue and stream and things like that, I want to note something that people have just completely left over, and this will be good for the LOL community, considering a lot of them are on Owned 3D, or Owned, or however the hell you say it. They're now partnered with CBS Interactive too. They recently changed their website, updated their website, and all that good stuff. Their chat's a lot better. They're stepping up in the world. And I'm for one, I'm incredibly glad to see it. I love Twitch. Twitch is doing an amazing job, but everyone needs a little competition. And so far, Owned 3D really hasn't been much of competition to Twitch. But now that they've got supposedly their fill rates are going to be a lot better and stuff like that through the CBS Interactive partnership. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more. So.
Well, I mean, I think to Own's credit, they jumped on League of Legends a lot sooner than a lot of other people did. I mean, I think that's where Own really. And whoever says it's Own 3D, I've always called it Owned. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I mean, I think that in a lot of ways. They were smart, and I think that by getting into League of Legends early, they put themselves on the map. I think that's really some of their real big strengths, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they have some of the biggest players on there right now. I think the entire CLG sort of broadcasting network, I guess as you say, is on there. But they did recently lose TSM, so to Twitch. So I don't know. I'm just glad to see that CBS is not just doing this exclusivity thing with Twitch. I'm really glad to see that. I'm glad to see that it's more with Owned as well. I'm sure Twitch isn't happy about that, but I'm glad. I'm just really glad to see somebody else sort of filling the shoes there. So, and people just kind of completely missed that point.
Well, we're talking about. Owned picking up on League quicker and things like that. So we're talking about picking up games. One other thing that I find really noteworthy in the announcement for the summer season for MLG, and I'll read this verbatim so you can hear it and see if you catch what I caught. But it says on here, dates and times for other summer events such as online qualifiers will be announced soon, as will the plans for additional games. So if that's the case, will we be seeing new games at MLG, or are they just maybe picking up more of a genre, say as fighters? That's something I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Before we move on, there's something I want to touch on very briefly. I think it's important to also note that Owned is a European company. I think it makes a lot of sense. So I know some people see Owned and Twitch TV as direct competitors, but if you look at it from CBS and GameSpot's perspective, Twitch TV very much North American centered, and Owned, if I'm correct, is an Austrian company headquartered in Vienna. So I think you have kind of two different markets, and I think that the advertising opportunities that now CBS and GameSpot bring into the mix. They're going to want to hit an international audience, and I think Own just has a better presence in Europe. That's my take on why Owned, why Twitch TV, why both, because I think they really do, at the core, serve different markets, both geographically, but more importantly, game-wise. You have a much bigger StarCraft presence on Twitch, but a much bigger League of Legends presence, at least when you look at the professional gamers on Owned.
Yeah, I mean, and Twitch, just as a note, Twitch, trying to expand to Europe, to try to have a more, a lot bigger presence. They hired Too Good, I think, to be their European community manager and stuff like that. But their distribution has been absolute shit over there. Supposedly, the servers lag, something awful for Europeans. And that's still going on now, supposedly. I'm not sure if that's still true, but...
And who knows, maybe with the money that GameSpot and CBS and what they bring to the table, they may have made that split. Said, look, Twitch TV, not interested. Just you focus on North America, do that well. Owned, you focus on Europe, and we're good, right? Yeah. That may have happened as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because clearly now that they're both partnered, CBS is a pretty big company. They probably know how to work with their channel partners really well. So I think I'm kind of leaning toward that. So sorry, Jason, to throw you off. I just wanted to really not have that part missed about them being in different geographies and what that does. So yeah, what a speculation. MLG to have new games.
Here's the thing. I'm really curious. This kind of throws me off because it's in summer. Because I spotted something else, and I guess this kind of rolls into the next subject as well, and we can kind of roll these together and debate a little and kind of speculate. But MLG, of course, they had announced way back on the losers bracket they were going to be doing something at E3. Well, the details for that have come out, and June 5th, 6th, and 7th, they'll be doing a different game, streaming some different game content each day from MLG, from E3 on MLG's website. On the 5th of June, they'll be doing Starcraft II. On the 6th, they will be doing Mortal Kombat with our very own vVvCD Jr. there helping them out. And then the really interesting one is June 7th. The third game they're going to be doing is not a game that is currently on the circuit. It is Call of Duty. And it's not Modern Warfare 3 either, it's Black Ops. With Golden Boy, good buddy of ours, doing the commentary for them, and then Merc, Rambo, Stainville, and Nadeshot, 4 players, all there as well. I gotta believe that they're leaning towards Black Ops 2 later this year, just seeing them at E3 with this title. Would you guys agree with me?
If they have a better spectator mode, then yes.
Hey, we have heard the developers talking about the fact they want to incorporate competitive gaming / esports into Black Ops 2. Kurt, I mean, additional games at the summer season. Black Ops 2 isn't out until later this year, and then we see Black Ops here at E3. What are your thoughts on all this, man? Where are we seeing the future of MLG heading?
I think one of the biggest things to note is I don't necessarily think because they chose Black Ops for E3, that's a direct sort of line that they're going to be looking at Black Ops 2 for MLG, like they're 100% on it or anything like that. I think that, more than likely they just wanted to fill some certain amount of quota for games, and they wanted a game that was incredibly, popular at a mainstream gaming conference, not conference isn't the word, but mainstream gaming convention, like E3 is, and, they wanted something like that. That being said, I think Black Ops 2, they of course want it. I mean, it's all about, it's a big numbers game, and that's a pretty big fucking number.
Yeah, I think, to your point, I think Black Ops is the perfect title for kind of setting up for Black Ops 2 release later. It seems to make a lot of sense. If you look at the Xbox Live numbers, right, Black Ops, I think, is right behind Modern Warfare 3. It's, to me, it makes a lot of good sense. I'm not surprised at all that they chose it, to be fair, because I'm going to pull up the numbers real quick. Yep, week of May 14th, the last time they did it. Number one game on Xbox Live based on uniques is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, followed by Minecraft. By the way, 9 million now in Minecraft. That's an incredible numbers. It'll be interesting to see what they eventually do with that as a title and where it grows to. The
funny thing is, my roommate is actually playing Minecraft on the TV right now.
I'm telling you, Legos on crack is a good way to describe Minecraft to me. I think it's phenomenally creative. It's brilliant. It's just pure brilliance. Elegant on so many levels. But going back to the number 3 game, which is Call of Duty Black Ops, then you see FIFA 12, then you see Battlefield 3 direct. So there's your top 5 right there. So, again, we say this a lot. Call of Duty being highly popular, I think it's the right choice. But I don't think that's going to be the game in the fall or the summer. I don't think that's it at all.
Competitive Minecraft is where it's at.
I wish. Now, I wonder, though, I mean, if you think about it, there are some options, right? Well, there are definitely some options. So let's just try to predict. And, Kurt, if you're going to pick a game, what would you pick?
Well, let me... First off, let me ask, are you talking about what would I predict that they're going to pick, or what would I like? Because they're two completely separate...
Yeah, we know. Counter-Strike Go. We hear you. We know.
So as far as what I would predict they do, I don't necessarily predict any other game, to be completely honest with you. I think, at least I hope. I honestly hope they don't add...
It's a non-answer, you know that.
I hope they don't add any other games.
Well, but they said they are.
But they said they're going to.
No. They said that information about other games will be released. Well, the only information that's been released is StarCraft II and LOL. So it could just be saying, hey, we're going to announce the same fucking fighters we've had.
Kurt, it says exactly verbatim.
Read it.
It says, here you go again. Please note there will be one StarCraft II arena in summer. Dates and times for other summer events, such as online qualifiers, will be announced soon, as will the plans for additional games. Not
additional games other than the 2 that they've already announced. They've announced League of Legends and StarCraft. Just because they said information for additional games, they say that in every press release.
I'm with KeyHunt on this.
Oh,
I mean, I don't necessarily think that means that they're adding other games that have not been around before. If that was true, I don't know. I don't see what they.
Okay, so here's my reason why I think we should consider something here real quick. Okay. The first thing I think is important is that Major League Gaming said that they set up the season to be able to do exactly that. Right? They wanted it to be modular so they could pull things out and put things in as they saw. So I think additional games could mean a lot of things, right? So does it necessarily mean that those additional games are Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur 5, and King of Fighters 13? No. You're right, they could mix it up. It could be the same ones, I suppose, because it isn't very clear as to, in that release, what they mean. But I do think that since they laid it out this way, it would be a good time to add a few new titles.
Right.
Let's hear your predictions. Let's hear it.
Well, here's the thing, right? We've got the East Coast for this next event, right? Not going to say that there's a good chance of it, but if there is a time for it, Halo to make one more appearance this year would be on the East Coast. We're in Raleigh for the summer season. What's right next to Raleigh? Epic. They were talking about Gears for so long. A one-off Gears event could be something they could do. They've got all those consoles unused, just sitting there. Go ahead, Fourth. I see you.
I gotta disagree with you. I gotta disagree with you. What it's gotta be is Battletoads, man. Gotta be Battletoads. That's what I'm pulling for.
Yeah,
that's where my money is. That's where my
I happen
dime
to
is.
agree with him. So, yeah.
Competitive frickin' Battletoads. It's coming. Be ready.
Next thing you're going to tell me it's going to be that rap hero game, and I'm going to throw on some Stunna Shades, and I'm just going to go balls deep with the poem and rapping.
Jason's
wow.
Let's
DJ
go.
hero. Yeah.
Bring it.
I see your glasses and raise you one wolf.
Bring it.
There.
So when's Tekken Tag 2 released? Like, to me, that is a 100% game that will be on MLG. One way or another, that game will be on MLG. I don't know if it's released before Raleigh or not, though. If it is, I think that's an option. But, substituting a fighter to me isn't really like a big, it's not like, oh my god,
It would still bring new people, though.
Of course, yeah, no, definitely would. I would love to see. I mean, I'm a Tekken fan, and they will. I think, like I said, Tekken Tag 2 will be at an MLG.
Is it? It's probably too soon for Guild Wars 2, isn't it?
Guild Wars 2 doesn't even have a release date. That's it. When is Guild Wars released?
But a lot of people are speculating the end of June, right? That's GameStop's sort of leak. I don't know if it's been made official by Guild Wars, by ArenaNet themselves, but I'm just curious if, and I know that an ad spotted by Kotaku also had it at June 28th. I mean, again, these are all speculation, but I'm just wondering if it is.
I got to point something out in chat real quick. ABC Infinite in chat went, well, if you really want to go there, Ultimate Tournament, Warsaw, Pain User, Painkiller is what you meant. Nexus or Shadowrun. Oh, this guy's living in more dreams than I am.
Shadowrun would be fantastic, by the way. Of all the games, I would way rather watch Shadowrun than some others.
Tekken Tag Tournament 2 release date currently for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, North America, September 11th, 2012.
Okay, so that'll be after Raleigh. So
it will be.
Yeah, so. But I'm almost positive you'll see Tekken Tag 2 there somewhere, but it won't be. Might not be at Raleigh, unless they bring in like arcade cabinets, which would be ridiculous. It won't be at Raleigh, but I think you'll see it either at Providence or the next event.
Well,
I'm holding out for competitive Mountain Blade.
You said Providence. I don't think they've even officially announced the fourth location yet.
Yeah, I know. I just say Providence by default. I don't know if it's Providence or not, but
no. Either way, I think it's really interesting that we do have the way that was worded. It could be the same titles. Hey, maybe we're reading too far into this. But at the same time, going back to the East Coast would be the perfect time. They did say they did this format so they could easily swap titles in and out. It's the perfect time for them to pull something back on the console on the East Coast. We'll see, I do suppose, either way. But, Jerry, did you have any predictions before we moved on?
No, I mean, I think it is actually tough to predict. That's why I think Kurt's got some sort of there's no evident easy one to point to. We are going back to the East Coast. That may speak poorly for King of Fighters 13. Some people feel that that's more of a West Coast game. I don't know that to be true. I can't claim that I know for sure. So if it's new, I guess there are three sort of areas to look at. One is, does Capcom finally let Big Leaves have their game? Just throw that out there. And if the answer is no, then I'm not sure what else is sort of left. I mean, Guild Wars 2 comes to mind, and then, some people say, will they throw Gears of War because they're in Epic's backyard? I just don't know if there's the numbers that support that,
Well, I think that there are a lot more possibilities now that game producers are starting to understand that esports is up and coming when it comes to big money, and so I get the feeling that there are going to be a lot of that right now there are a lot of designers and publishers that are working in the background with, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe even MLG, and they're keeping it quiet. But they're working together a lot more, and maybe we'll see a game announcement along with a sequel that's going to be competitive. That may be coming up, maybe later this summer. I wouldn't be surprised to see it for Halo 4.
Either way, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this turns out. Keep your eyes peeled. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but people are shouting out Firefall in the chat, and I just. Here's the thing with Firefall, man. Is I've never played the game, and I like the fact that Red 5 is so, from what we're hearing, so for esports, they're going to put money into it. I think they're actually hiring an esports coordinator. From what I've heard from the sort of the background of things,
Red 5
that they are looking for someone for that, and they're looking for a community manager and things like that. That being said, they would have to put in my opinion. They had to put a lot of money into it in order for it to make MLG sort of worthwhile for that game. A lot of money into it. You're looking at, once again, just like with what they say are Counter-Strike problems, you're looking at PCs rather than consoles. You're looking at just a whole mess of a headache that they would end up having to pay a lot for a game that hasn't necessarily proven itself yet. So I don't think that's an option, especially by Anaheim. Or by Raleigh, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Firefall, the feeling is 2013 at the earliest anyway. I mean,
yeah,
that's how I felt. So no, I again, if it's going to be anything, you've got to go where the numbers are and people will watch. And I think right now, of the games on the coming out that might have the potential. Again, Guild Wars 2 is the only one that comes to my mind that's new and fresh and be interesting if we're outside the fighting game genre, and if Capcom still doesn't play and there's no way for that to break out of the circuit, you bring back a Gears of War because you're at Epic's backyard or, something new. But again, or we get surprised and it's Dota 2. But yeah, I have no idea.
I can't imagine Dota making it there, though. I mean, with League of Legends. Then again, that's an entirely different debate. I want to move this a little bit forward.
I could talk forever about that.
I know you could, Fourth, and I'm trying to prevent that. Look at the wolf on your shoulder. He doesn't want you to do that. That would be sad. See?
Aww. You don't know what he's thinking. Okay, so that was.
Okay, right. Let's change the subject quick.
He's my buddy.
Let's cut. Next subject. Next topic. We were talking a little bit about King of Fighters a few minutes ago, and I want to touch on this really quickly. vVv Romance, want to give a big shout out to him for his performance. A huge tournament this past weekend, Ultimate Fighting Game Tournament, Chicago, I believe. He actually swept the entire tournament. Did not lose a series, I believe. Took out Justin Wong in the finals, 2-0. So looking really good. Packing up the points for Evo and rolling in with the momentum to MLG Anaheim next week. Jerry, this was in your backyard. What are your thoughts on Romance's victory?
I think it was one. I think everyone should know it was a really, really dominating victory. Romance came in. He was primed and ready. And it really is a pleasure to watch. I don't know if everybody knows, this was also streamed as well. So if you couldn't, you catch it live, obviously, because you weren't in the Chicago area. It was also streamed. But, I think it was him and Justin Wong in the grand finals.
It was.
And it was pretty good. He didn't drop a single game in any set he played in the top 16 rounds. So, he did well all the way up to the top. So, all in all, he did really well.
Definitely. Huge shout out to Romance for his performance. Cannot wait to cheer you on next week in Anaheim. Let's see that repeat performance. While we're talking about vVv Gaming things, another quick thing that I wanted to touch on is our Diablo contest that we are currently doing through vVv Gaming. If you have not checked this out, head over to the website and enter into this contest. We're giving away a ton of really cool SteelSeries gear and vVv Gaming apparel. All you need to do is create a video or a guide. Tons of different ways you can enter, and you could win some free gear. So, really cool. We just extended the deadline, and that's until next Monday night. So you got right until before Anaheim to get your submissions in. I've got a really cool idea that I'm going to be throwing out there for it, so you better think of some good content, because mine's going to be pretty hard to beat. Just saying. But,
yeah, Kirk, you check 6 people to do something. I've got a lot of... Oh, wait, but then I forgot you're sponsored by Thermaltake. Disregard.
Yeah, disregard. Although I wouldn't mind one of those Diablo III headsets. I'm telling you, I wouldn't mind it one bit. So
they look good. They look good. I said, I use Thermaltake power supplies.
I wouldn't mind that purple headset that they pushed on their.
Oh, at MLG, yeah, they're out there. I think we agreed though it's not purple. I think we're going with some teal fuchsia infusion thing.
Kim Rom cracks me up, man. He talked a little shit on his Twitter. I'm not sure if you saw where he posted. He said someone made a mouse with a fan, and that he's like that happened, and that was Thermaltake. Thermaltake made a mouse like with a fan that would plug in.
What? Oh my gosh! I am having flashbacks to walking to GameStop with like the Mag Cats, terrible GameCube controllers.
It's funny though. On a very serious note, though. I think Kim was trolling all weekend. He retweeted something, and the hashtags were something like "that's gay," and then someone made a comment, "Careful, that's homophobic," and then he kept he just tweeted, "Not going to make a gay comment, not going to make a gay comment, not going to make a gay comment, not going to make a gay comment," and I thought to myself, "Go ahead, go right ahead, bring it on." But he was behaved. He didn't. I think he drew the line there. It's like, I have to be this tiny enforcer of all things PC.
So
he cracks me up, man. He cracks me up. I wanted to give him shit because then I'll say, yeah, they made a mouse with a fan, but you guys made a glass mouse pad.
Hey, there was a reason for that, though. They gave their reason for why they did that.
Of course they did. Of course they
Well, hey, while I'm on the subject of Diablo III, I read a really funny story today. I want to share this with you guys before we move on. I don't know if you guys had caught this earlier, but this is, in my opinion, absolutely hilarious. There is, of course, really strict laws on gaming in China. Right? And right now, Diablo III is a game that is really tough to get a hold of because, the bans in China, things like that. The official name translated in China is God of Dark Destruction, right? That's the name for the game.
That is so epic.
So the way that people are getting around this game, selling copies, things like that, is they are selling Daboluos, so very close to Diablo. The thing is that translates directly into Big Pineapple. So they're putting Big Pineapple on things to sell Big Pineapple 3 as the game, as their way of getting around the censors so that people can play Diablo.
You Americans have such funny names for games. You really do.
I love it. It gives Whimsyshire, the happy level in Diablo, an entirely new purpose if the game's called Big Pineapple.
This is what happens when we let Jason talk, Jared. This is what happens.
I'm sorry, I found that pretty entertaining. So I felt
it
like
was
I
entertaining.
Oh, yes.
It was very entertaining. I do want to talk about a few other things that are not on the list here, so you guys are going to have to ad-lib for a minute there, but we'll
go ahead.
I want to talk about IPL a little bit. IPL announced, because we didn't really talk much about it last week. IPL announced their format change that we talked about, or that David Ting had mentioned to us before, where they're sort of completely changing up their format. They're not going to have for IPL 5. They will not have a championship bracket. They will not have a pool play bracket. They will not have an open bracket. It will be purely I think 64. Is that right? I could be wrong. I'm sorry.
I love when he says he has things to talk about, and then he has to double check what he's saying. It's so cute.
Hey, you just mentioned a story that had big pineapple in the title. Okay, I don't want to go there.
At least he's not talking about Counter-Strike.
So he does watch the show.
We're going to keep you. I like you, FourthOracle. You're good. You're catching on. You're catching on. Okay. Kurt, you got those numbers for us now, buddy?
Okay. No, add a BC help me out. Yeah, 40-man. So 40-man double elimination bracket that'll be completely qualifier only. So you qualify via online what are regional events, which will allow you to win your chance for a flight to the event and also a higher seating to the event. And then satellite events, which will then directly birth you into the 40-man bracket as well. They also even have something which I applaud them for. This is stuff I don't think it's perfect by any means, but this is stuff that MLG should be doing, and everyone should be doing for that matter, not just MLG. They have a amateur satellite event, which will allow an amateur player to qualify into this event. And in order to play for the amateur satellite events, you have to have won less than $1,000 in tournament pricing. So that qualifies you as an amateur. You have to have less than $1,000 in tournament pricing and LAN tournament pricing, not online, LAN tournament pricing. So it's really, really interesting, man. I don't know if they're going to go through with it. This is the only problem is because IPL is kind of shit when it comes to advertising their online qualifier systems and things like that. So it ends up no one ends up playing. So for instance, for the first IPL region event, IPL 5 region qualifier, that had some big names, but not all of the big names in North America. Really, it was just Sleep was there, Idra, DeMuslim, In Control, Kawhi Rice, Select, things like that. But you also had a lot of lesser-known players and things like that. Sleep actually ended up winning that event. So Sleep did win his trip to IPL 5, as well as a automatic berth into Winners Round 3, I believe.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I mean, so I do worry about that a little bit. I wonder what they're going to do to fix that, as far as because they got to make sure the competition is there. But anyway, I really wanted to mention that at least they're trying. At least they're going, hey, this current system we don't like. We don't believe it's set up correctly, so we're trying to do something different. I also think it's because it's just cheaper, which is to me is always a good thing when someone tries to make things a little more within budget. But yeah, I just think it's really, really interesting how they're doing this whole thing. It's strictly a 40-man bracket, all online qualifier stuff. So everybody go check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Really cool thing to mention. Thank you for bringing that up, Kurt. Swinging the camera back over to the MLG. Listen to me. The MLG side of things. wanted to bring up also the announcement of what Kespa players will be coming to MLG Anaheim to play Starcraft II. Additionally, there's this big expo they're going to be doing Saturday night, where they're going to have the 8 players all from different teams playing against each other in a little sort of show event. But if you have not seen it, I will link it in the chat. Players including, and we know the big ones, Flash, Bisu, Fantasy, Jaedong. This is going to be absolutely incredible. The biggest collection of StarCraft talent I think that has ever accumulated in America. And this will be the first time that Kespa players will be playing in a StarCraft tournament in the United States. So, very exciting time, to say the least. Kurt, here's the question I want to pose to you. Look at you with your sleep win, and you got your knowledge. I want to know your opinion. Will a Kespa player win MLG Anaheim?
I don't think he can he? I didn't think Kespa players were playing in the open bracket. Are they?
I don't think so. I think they're playing Heart of the Swarm, aren't they?
No, they're not playing Heart of the Swarm. But they're playing their own sort of
I thought they were playing
bracket.
in both. Maybe I was completely wrong. Are they only doing the tournament?
I don't think so. I don't even think they're playing the tournaments.
You know what? That could be a flub on my part. I thought they were doing both. I thought they were doing just their own.
I don't think so.
And if they're allowed, I don't think they will, because like
I think it's
kind of a fame thing. Like it's like, why would I enter an open bracket and play a bunch of random scrubs?
They are not at all.
Considering I'm not that good. Considering like you'd hate to see a random diamond scrub somehow beat Flash, and like I don't think they would take that chance. So
that was the dance of shame, by the way. That's what I'm doing over here. I took that from FourthOracle earlier, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. Fourth nerd high five. Cha-ching.
All right, as long as I get royalties.
Okay, I suppose I can do that for you.
Royalties in the form of nudes.
Yeah, but no. So I don't. But let's pose a hypothetical. Even if they did, no, a Kespa player would not win MLG Anaheim. No, I've watched some of the Pro League since it started, and they're just. You can definitely tell they were good players in Brood War. Like, I mean, even if you didn't know anything about Brood War, you can see that they've played this type of game before. They're incredibly smart. Some of the stuff they do, and their micro is, just ridiculous. But I don't think they're quite up with all the units yet. Their macro, tends to slip a little bit as far as I don't know why exactly, why that would be with StarCraft II. I didn't follow Brood War that much. So I don't know the huge differences and things like that. But they're definitely not they're not going to beat ridiculously top StarCraft II pros yet.
Yeah.
With the practice, though, I definitely think they will. To me, just because you can tell how smart they are. And we talked about that a little bit last week. You can watch you can check out the article that Team Dignitas did. It was like a blog where they analyzed, I think it was Flash, who played Kawhi Rice on ladder, and they sort of analyzed the replay of that and just watched, and he ended up winning. And it was just really amazing seeing, they pointed out, the little subtle things he did that, shows just how ridiculously smart these players are. So, really good players.
Well, to add to that real quick, I did read an interview that was done with Jaedong, and he actually said there is no guarantee that StarCraft 1 skills transfer to StarCraft 2. So that was coming from one of the top StarCraft 1 players. And in that same article, in that same interview, he had said for his time now transitioning, he's actually directly copying Stefano's style of play. That's the person he's modeling his style of play after. So, I agree. I think that they do have a little bit of catching up to do now transferring over. But if we do see one, let's say within the next 2 championships, if we see a Kespa player come to the event and play through the actual tournament, I think we have a legit shot of seeing one of them taking the entire event if they get this practice time in the next 6 months. FourthOracle, I know you're on the outside of this as the lead player.
Yeah.
I want your opinion, then Jerry yours, and then we'll head over to the next subject.
What about StarCraft 1 skills transferring over to StarCraft 2?
Yep, like say in the Dota world, would Dota skills directly transition over to League of Legends?
I think... Yeah, I can't talk because I haven't ever played StarCraft. I know it probably sounds heretical, but I just haven't.
No, shut up. Jerry, your opinion.
All right. Oh.
You know what? I got an idea. Why don't we take some phone calls since we're light on the news cycle tonight and we're going to have our MLG preview next week? Okay. Why don't we take calls from our audience who may have 1 or 2 or 10 questions?
Amen to that.
I love them.
Amen to that. So, guys, the questions can be about anything you would like. Ask how Jason got his hair that red. Ask how FourthOracle's hair is that straight, because I have long hair and mine is not, so it makes me cry. But yeah, so ask anything you would like. We'll try to stay around for at least another few minutes and answer a few calls.
Most definitely.
Jason, let us know when you got a call, buddy.
Yeah, most definitely. I just threw it over to the screen. If you've never had a chance to call into the losers bracket before and you would like to join us, here is how you would do so. Hop on Skype, add me. We've got, oh, look at this. This guy has called in both the last 2 times we've done. This guy always has a question for us. I love it.
Good.
That is so exciting. I'm going to add him over to the conversation right now. But if you want to join in the conversation as well, add me on Skype. It's just vVv Paradise. We'll pull you into the conversation. Message me what you want to talk about. We'll pull you in, and we'll let you join in with us. So we have got John calling in at the moment. We're going to get him connected over to us, and then we'll let him ask his question. In the meantime, like I said, go ahead, feel free to add me on Skype, and we will get you in for the discussion. John, how are you doing this week, sir?
I don't like the way this guy looks. I don't trust him. That question mark is just a little bit off.
I'm so sorry I said panties and not painkiller. I can't believe I messed up. I just said the game.
It's all right. No one here pays attention to FPS games anyway.
I know.
No PC FPS games for them.
I'm surprised you played Warsaw, by the way. Like, I didn't think you'd be into that.
Warsaw was an awesome game. I absolutely loved it. And it was free. Like, I mean, you couldn't beat it for a free game. I was on Cal for a while. I actually played Cal Open Warsaw for a little while.
Really? That's cool.
I did.
Yeah, Cooler was going to quit Quake to play Warsaw.
Yeah, that would have been a bad idea. But
yeah, it would have been.
Considering he probably won like $10,000 after that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, he's all right. So my question is, why does Jerry underestimate StarCraft II so much? I really want to know.
Underestimate?
No, I don't know if like you remember GSL Season 1, right? Like when the Brood War thing was kind of making that transition over. Boxer pulled 750,000 concurrent viewers in up and down matches. GSL Season 1.
So I think I'll say 2 things to that, right? One, the competition is more fierce today, right? So I don't know if I'm underestimating, and we're talking about 2 giant games here. But remember, I stressed over and over again that this is my opinion. I prefer team games over sort of single-player games, head-to-head chess matches. I prefer team sports. So for me, League of Legends is is more dynamic, and it's just more interesting to see teams. That doesn't mean that I see StarCraft dying off or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I prefer, League of Legends. Now, but since you brought up sort of like the beginning of StarCraft going back in time, I think the competition today is just a lot more fierce. I mean, there are a lot of choices for our time, and whatever can give the best spectator experience, I think, is going to win at the end of the day. And with the Riot's new spectating mode and the instant replay and slow motion and everything, I think they've done something really powerful. Doesn't mean Blizzard can't catch right back up or anything like that. But right now I'm giving the edge, and I wanted to clarify that it's an edge, to League of Legends.
Sure, but do you think that might change when the Brood War, like if the Brood War people transition over? I think that's like the big question for StarCraft right now.
Can I pick
I don't think it's a matter of if, but yeah, go ahead, Fred.
I think in the end, it's not necessarily this. Like, what are you talking about? Actually, I want to hear more about what you're talking about. When you're saying like the expansion comes out, you think that more people will start gravitating toward the game?
No, not the expansion. When like Brood War is still bigger in Korea than StarCraft II right now. Like despite the fact that StarCraft II huge everywhere else, like for StarCraft or whatever. Like I mean, there really was no Brood War scene anywhere else but Korea. But Brood War, as it is right now, still a lot bigger in Korea. If those people transition over, like I mean, there's kind of like a dip in StarCraft right now. Like Red Bull Land pulled 30,000, 35,000 converts or something, somewhere along those lines. Like it's kind of declining. But I think when those people transition over, if they transition over, it'll get a lot bigger. Is what I'm saying.
Maybe.
I would disagree.
Yeah, I gotta disagree on that one too.
I mean, in the end, you gotta look at the fact that StarCraft II is huge in Korea, but in the end, League of Legends still #1 right now in Korea, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got like 14 or 15% of the entire
it's
population.
behind like Aeon or something like that, and like the most played games at cafes or something like that.
I mean, look, whenever you say anything bad about StarCraft in this community, you're kind of called this what DJ Wheat coins as like the sky is falling. The sky is falling. This chicken little thing, which I don't think that's what me or Jerry are saying. What I'm saying is that there's obviously a problem. There's obviously something going on that is causing a dip in numbers. For number one, and this is kind of a different topic than LOL, but there is a dip in numbers in StarCraft. Like there just is, and this isn't just because like Diablo III was released. Like there's just so much content out right now, and there's so much decent content, there's so much amazing content, and then there's so much bad content, and it's all being consumed at different rates and different times and stuff like that. So I don't, I do see Heart of the Swarm definitely making things a lot better for temporarily. But I think the biggest thing is we just need other games. Like we need this sort of, we need League of Legends and we need StarCraft and we need an FPS game and we need maybe even a 1v1 game.
Definitely need it.
We need all these games to sort of come together. If we really want to see something consistent, because people are going to get tired of watching the same two players play over and over again. You also need, I just want to say this one other thing real quick, and I think Jerry has something to add. We also really need people that are putting out content to step up some of the quote-unquote reality content. Like, people can roll their eyes about that shit all they want, but in the end, that will drive a ton of numbers. We need people to really show the story behind players and the story behind a team for League of Legends or the story behind anything. We have to have that. It's not a matter of wanting it. We have to have it. My favorite example is the fact that I watch some of the dumbest shows on television. I watch Storage Wars and Sewage Wars and Cake Boss and every other dumbass reality television show out there. You want to know why I watch it? It's not because I couldn't give a fuck less about what kind of cake Buddy Velastro makes from Cake Boss. I like it because I like his attitude. I like it because of the people. And we have to find some way to really show that, because right now we're not at all. It's just all about the games. When it's all about the games, it's just going to be us sitting around, and eventually we'll get tired of watching those games. So,
well, yeah, I think a big problem with StarCraft II right now is that they pull most of their viewers when foreigners are still in the tournament, but foreigners don't usually make it top 8. Is another problem, I think. I mean...
Anyway, Jerry, I know you got a different theory, but go ahead.
You both touched on what I think the central problem is. I mean, I think, one... if I can't connect to the players, it gets less interesting, right? So a lot of people can't connect to a city like they can in traditional sports. If you take the tennis model, people generally can follow their favorite tennis player with a good amount of fanfare and news. I think it's a little bit different in StarCraft. And I don't know. I mean, I think... as sad as it is to say, if there aren't more foreigners placing and it's Koreans all at the top, I think foreigners lose interest and look at different games. And I will say this again, I think League of Legends is just, a lot of people love playing it. It's a more social game. There's more stories to be told. It seems to have the stronger opportunity to me,
That's actually what you're talking about, is why I eventually want to do more of Summoner Herald, or maybe just start a new project and do that instead. That's what I've been thinking about. More. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I think you're right. So I think like any game looks simple when you first play it, right? Some people Starcraft looks simple. Some people League of Legends looks simple. When you look at both those games played at the highest level, we're sitting around because obviously VV thinks a lot about how to develop players, and we got into a good sort of conversation on what makes a good League of Legends player. And so I started asking people around, what makes a good League of Legends player? And you'd be surprised the difference in answers I got, which sort of reflects how little people understand the complexity and depth of League of Legends, right? About what a 5-man game is like versus 1v1. And I think that makes League of Legends, again, just to me, a much more in-depth game because you have 5 individual decision makers who have to do some pretty well-timed things in order to sort of get an advantage that's going to result in them winning. And I think that's where you see a large difference. And, again, I don't see this as a League of Legends versus StarCraft. I don't see it as that as all, right? I think that it's, really about people's preference. And I think there are way more personalities involved in League of Legends that, make up a team that if there's going to be something for the long haul, I probably would look at League of Legends over StarCraft. But again, these two are so close. I mean, we're talking about the top 2 games with nothing really close.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
I wasn't really getting on about League of Legends versus StarCraft II. I was just and I mean, to your point, Pro League is set up like a team format, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of what it's been finalized to be. Play sets of matches in a team. Whoever wins the most sets as a team, and you can all kill and do all that stuff, which has made it more interesting, right? Because somebody can save their team or lose it for their team.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's the thing is we just, in my opinion, we have to find. The problem is, and this is a big problem. I think it's a problem for MLG and IPL. Everyone is that everyone is very complacent with how they're putting on their shows. Either they all want to change like the small things and want to update the production value, but none of them want to completely change the game and what they're doing. And that's understandable. MLG especially, this is one of the first times they're making some money. So why would they want to change that? I can't spit it out. Don't break what's not broken.
Yeah,
there we go.
There you go.
But it's very. So I understand that, but we have to find some different stories, and we have to find some different way to portray things. That's why I pointed out what IPL was doing as a different way to portray things. It's a lot cheaper, so of course they look for a bigger return on what they're putting in. And it's possible that people will like that format. They've got an amateur player there that's specifically qualified. It's at least different. So I applaud that. And just like I applaud the arena events that MLG does. It's at least different, but I think there needs to be a different change. And then we'll see StarCraft II doing better again. And it's still doing great. It's not like it's dying or dead. It's just, it's clear there's a problem, and it's clear the problem's only going to get worse unless people do something about it. So, anyway, good question, John.
All right. See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Having questions.
So thanks for calling in.
Yeah, bye.
See ya.
All right.
Jason, do you have another one set up?
I actually have someone that just texted me a question they wanted to ask. Right. They did not have the ability to call in, but they asked what our opinion was and how people could stop security issues, because there was a big thing that happened during the SoloMid tournament over the weekend, where yeah, that was bad. I don't know if you guys...
Can I take this one?
I'll let you take it, but I love when people come in and they think running a tournament is so easy, and then they try to do it and they fuck shit up. I love that, especially people like SoloMid who gave WCG so much shit for the way they ran their tournament. Like WCG had something like 12 qualifiers to run in 3 months. They can't run a single tournament, so without something fucking up. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that it's not as easy as it looks.
No, being a tournament coordinator can be a hellish job sometimes. I'm on good terms with HackX, who For those of you who don't know, I'm a shoutcaster as well, on top of providing video content, and I shoutcast League Monthly regularly, and the sort of crap that Hack has to go through is just preposterous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you cut out there, Fourth?
Huh? Did I?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it looked on your screen like you had lagged a little bit for me. I was just making sure things were good. But yeah, what happened over the weekend with this SoloMid tournament? We had some really big denial of service attacks that happened. Kind of postponed the tournament all the way through Monday night. They even thought they were going to have to push it back even further until there was a really great moment where Dan Din, who's casting, gets a text message from someone who apparently is a hacker working for the good guys, texting him saying, "Don't worry about the DDoS attacks anymore. I took care of them for you. You should be fine now." Guy has no idea how his number got to him, anything. So really interesting event, to say the least, for the tournament. But the question was, how can we combat this? Is there anything that we can do on the security side of things for tournaments? Honestly, Jerry, I think you'd probably be the most knowledgeable in this area, especially since VV Gaming went through security issues a while back as well. Any thoughts on this? Because I think that you're the one that this one has to go over to, question-wise.
I mean, I learned a lot when someone socially engineered my email and then tried to get access. And luckily, I'm sort of plugged in all the time, and I got notices and I was able to cut them off. But, people have tried denial of service attacks and things like that. I think, this points to a greater problem, which is that, we almost need counter hackers, those to counter the little script kiddies who do, denial of service attacks. I think we need people to sort of step in and be prepared to handle those kinds of things. Again, I'm not sure, any legitimate hacker would care about a League of Legends tournament. So you probably, again, have some script kiddie who thinks he's being cute. They're obviously very annoying. They're a good candidate for, I think, a good beatdown. If we're in medieval times, I would recommend the stringing up and the lashings, but unfortunately, they're not that easy. But there isn't a quick solution. Denial of service attacks are just annoying, and it's good if you're going to do something online to have someone who has the capacity to counter little script kiddies and what they're doing. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. It's a tough situation to be in. I think it led to a very funny moment when he got this random text message, no idea where the number came from, how the person got his number, but hey, it worked. The player that was being attacked did not disconnect again after he got that text. So obviously something happened. But nonetheless, it is something that we're going to have to do in the future, is get better security for tournaments. And, we'll see what happens as soon as something like that happens with an MLG or an IPL. I pray that it doesn't happen anytime soon. But, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
I think part of the problem is that it's a part of the tournament that the tournament organizer can't actually control himself, because they weren't attacking the tournament stream, they weren't attacking any of the people, they were attacking chat, they were attacking the players. And when that happens, that's something that, as a tournament organizer, you just kind of have to throw up your hands and say, okay, how can I help them now? Because it's really hard to go in beforehand and say, okay, has anyone seen Skype on your stream? You can't really do anything about it, and I guess that's the most frustrating part. Poor guys.
I think also one of the things to do is to, number one, Counter-Strike has been pretty bad with this. Back last season for ESEA, they got a bunch of people DDoSing servers and DDoSing players and stuff like that. And what ESEA did was try to make sure that people understood what they needed to do to make sure that they weren't gonna, that their IP wasn't gonna go out. Turn off, Steam in game, and make sure that people weren't trying to call you in game. Because for a bug there for a while, when you called on Steam, you could then see the person's IP via command line. And then they did stuff like, make sure you had your Skype blocked and stuff like that. Destiny actually talked about that. Destiny actually has an article on that up right now on his site, giving a whole detailed thing about how you can block your IP on Skype to make sure that no one can get your IP via Skype and stuff like that. So you can do that, and also you need to educate people to the fact that not every time their internet's lagging, they're getting DDoS.
Yeah.
And sometimes if it's the player, there's nothing you can do. Like you can't, as a tournament organizer, you cannot. What's what I'm looking for? You can't manage everyone. You have to make sure that hey, unfortunately this is your problem. We're going to need to move on, and you don't hold up the tournament because of it. So,
if that's the case, we've definitely got to make sure our players know. And to let them, I guess, have the knowledge so that doesn't happen. I'd hate to see, tournament results skewed because of that at a major LAN or something like that, or even the major online finals, for like a qualifier for, say, something like an IPL. That would be horrible. But nevertheless, right before we wrap things up, we just talked about the SoloMid Invitational that just happened this past weekend. I did mention at the beginning of the show, Fourth, that I wanted to talk a little bit more League of Legends. So since you're the League of Legends guy, you got the knowledge here. I want to know your opinions, what you think. We got Anaheim next week. Who are the teams to watch? Who are the potential dark horses? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but who do you think we should watch out for next week at Anaheim? And who do you think could be someone that could make a splash?
Oh, man. I think that this is going to be one of the most important events of League of Legends history, partially because I mentioned this in one of the Summoner Herald episodes. Right now, there really isn't one team that could be said to dominate. Sometimes you have that. I know that sometimes you have that coming out in Starcraft II, like you have one person that's on top for a couple tournaments and then that changes over. Right now, there isn't really a team that's doing that. You get differing opinions on who's on top. Like for a while, people were saying like CLG EU is on top, and then other people were saying no, it's TSM, and then it's just all over the map. I think that's going to be really exciting for a couple reasons, though. It's that I think we're going to finally get some definitive teams that are on top. That are going to be there at least for a little while. People are going to be paying attention to them for a long time. I think the ones to really watch would be CLG Prime. I called them Optimus in my Summoner Herald videos. They're actually called CLG Prime. The image gag was still good, but I think that CLG Prime will be important to watch. Dignitas will be important to watch. And Curse will be important to watch because of that whole swapping debacle. For those of you who didn't see that, they basically just did a big player swap. And one of the most important things that happened was Hotshot GG, who's one of the most prominent solo top players, got stuck into the jungle. He's actually been doing a decent job. I'm really surprised. I'm really impressed because I think that X Special put it really well. He has these, out of all the pro players, he has the least pro-like mindset in that he only played 5 champions solo top, and now that he's in jungle, he only plays like 3. If you wanted to, you could probably just ban out all the jungle champions he can play. So that would be really good to look for. Look at those 3 teams: Dignitas, CLG Prime, and Curse. Especially looking at solo top and jungle, because those are the places that really got affected. You had people moving around in there. Who else? We have a lot of up and coming teams that are coming up. Epic Gamer is coming back up there now under CLG. TSM. Sorry, excuse me. I keep getting them swapped. The TSM. They're under TSM, and I think that they're going to be really important to watch. Let's see who else. The Absolute Legends is really coming up. Who was in the finals in the SoloMid tournament? I'm totally drawing a blank here. Help me out here. You watched. Who was it? Team Dynamic. Are they going to be in Anaheim?
I believe that I haven't seen them on the list, but either way, I want to switch one last question before we wrap this up.
Okay.
TSM.
There's one more thing I wanted to bring up. One more thing.
Go ahead.
The meta is... Alright, this is a warning. The meta is changing. I predict that in Anaheim, we're going to be seeing crazy crap that nobody's ever seen. Recently, Orb decided to throw out this ridiculous composition where they all built like 4 gold per 10 and then like turned it into an ARAM. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. It didn't work, But it's that sort of thing that I expect to be seeing. People are going to be pulling out really weird stuff. And you never know when it's going to happen. It could happen really early on. It could happen really late. Maybe they're trying to pull their trump card. But either way, we're going to be seeing a lot of really cool stuff happening. That's my prediction. Anyways, moving on.
Okay. One last question, and then I'm wrapping. IPL4, TSM, they ran the board. Really good. Looked really great. What do you think they're going to do at MLG Anaheim? Some team to watch out for? You didn't mention them before. Want your opinion?
TSM? Oh, they've been power players for a long time. They've been at the top for a really long time. Recently, though, in tournaments, they've been dropping the ball.
Even after winning IPL4?
They won IPL4. They won the SoloMid Invitational, but recently, this is like really recent. This is in the past couple of weeks, and if they can get their stuff together, I think that they're going to be a powerhouse. And I think that they're going to be able to, just because they're really good players, and they're able to take any problems that they have, sweep them under the board, and say, okay, this tournament, we just need to focus. I think they're going to be one of those top teams. The top teams, like the ones that are really obvious, like CLG, Curse, and like Dignitas. Is Dignitas going to be there? I think, yeah, they're going to be there.
They will.
Yeah. I need to look at the roster again. But yeah, I think that they're going to be just fine. I think they're going to be incredible power players.
Cool. All right. With that being said, Fourth, I do want to thank you. Yay, your internet worked this week. That's awesome. So glad you could join us for the show. I look forward to seeing if your predictions hold true next week. We'll be doing a little bit of preview for MLG Anaheim on next week's show before we all fly out to California, which I wish you were doing because it'd be nice to see you in person and pet your wolf. But
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We understand.
It's okay. He loves you anyway. See?
Oh, look at how cute. Oh my god, you made the sound. That's ridiculous. Any shout-outs before, because we're going to be wrapping up the show here shortly. I'm going to pass it over to Kurt after this, but Fourth, since you are the guest co-host this week, any shout-outs you wanted to give before we ended?
Uh-oh. That's a good question. I'm going to give a little shout out to Dirt Nap Gaming, actually. They're the clan that I was in. They're the clan that I was a part of before VVV. I did leave on short notice to come over to VVV. I still feel bad about doing that, but they're a great community. They're a bunch of great guys, and if they hadn't picked me up, I wouldn't be where I am today. So just a little shout out in my history to them.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, they actually just recently won a Go for LOL, I believe. They're a pretty darn decent team.
Their team is amazing. I know them personally. They're really nice guys. They're hilarious guys, and can they play?
Cool. Fourth, yet again, thank you so much. Kurt, I'm going to pass the mic on over to you. Shout outs, and then after that, I'm going to give a shout outs to the sponsors, Jerry, all that good stuff. So, Kurt, shout outs for the week, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the Dirt Nap Gaming, I think is what you said. They're actually going to be at the GSL, so the new egg event that's sponsored by Gigabyte Esports Land. That's going to be right after Anaheim. They'll be there with Green Forest Land team, as well as I think TSM will be there. CLG is supposed to be there. Curse will be there. Really, really big teams will be there, so that's pretty awesome. As well as, of course, it'll be a Starcraft event. Starcraft event is a lot like the Texas Lone Star Clash. It's got quite a few top Korean pro players, as well as top American pro players, as well as some unknown players, which is awesome. We'll have Sleep there and Mystic there from Check 6. They'll both be there, so that should be fantastic. Please root for them as much as possible, and take a look at the League of Legends stuff as well, because that'll be a really big event. That's being put on by the SoCal Esports guys, as well as Cyber Sports Network, who helped with the Lone Star Clash as well. So that's awesome. Last thing, like I usually do every week, check out the Facebook. Check facebook.com/check6gaming. We're going to be doing another giveaway this week. I already got all that good stuff set up. So we'll be doing a giveaway this week sometime for some gear. And I appreciate all the support. Be sure to check out Sleep on Twitter. Tell him congratulations for IPL, for winning IPL, a regional qualifier, and I'm pretty sure he's excited. So that's about it. Thanks.
Jerry, shout-outs for the week, my friend.
I want to give a big shout-out to staff who and the community who keeps stomaching my destructive changes. I have a very devious, systematic plan of cutting. And, we can drop a bunch of people and then pick up a bunch of people. And it's really amazing to have that kind of flexibility. I think I keep saying this all the time, VV Gaming has done an excellent job with its brand. The people in VV Gaming have done a great job of making VV Gaming more important than themselves. And I think that's fantastic. I think over the last week, I had 10 interviews. And that was, with us consistently trying to cut down. I think after Anaheim, we're going to do more reevaluating, shifting. I just see esports keep changing, and we've always been sort of trying to stay ahead of the pack. And I think we're going to make some more changes. I think we got our community right. Now we have to look across our sponsor players and start to re-examine what we do with that. What we do with Wednesday night Starcrafts. I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes upcoming. Mostly because I want to shake things up further. But community, I think, is right. Our content's getting in there. I got to spend some time educating staff to the next level of where we're headed, and then we'll make more changes. So we're doing good. Change is supposed to be hard, and I really appreciate staff and the community putting up with me, because I think sometimes people get confused. But as I said, there's a method to my madness, and it will reveal itself with time. Some people have already caught on to where we're headed, but I think it's a good place, and we're rightly suited for it. So I think it's good. So yeah, shout out to staff for putting up with everything, to all the co-hosts here, to you, FourthOracle, for doing a show and putting your trust in us. Even though we picked you up, you're doing a great job representing our brand, and then a great job to the community for slogging it through with us. So yeah, thanks.
Yay. Quick shout-outs from myself before the shout-outs to our sponsors. But people that have been supporting us in the stream consistently, people such as vVvMedusa, always so supportive. Thank you so much to her. Big shout out to my boy Bill Cosby, who has been in the stream every single week. I know he's looking to possibly work on his own show soon. Big props to him for wanting to do things in the esports world. I appreciate that. People like ABC Infinite, who has been in here calling in week after week. We do appreciate your support as well. You guys are the thing that drives us, keeps us going. Thank you so much. Additionally, shoutouts to our sponsors, Control Freak, SteelSeries, Gamer Grub, and of course the band Power Glove for supplying the music that you hear each and every week on the show. They are great. The X-Men theme is this theme that's the intro and outro music. Yeah, go check that out. It's good stuff. Saturday Morning Apocalypse. Really great album. On top of that, if you do have any feedback for us, I would really love to hear it. My personal email address, the VVV Paradise email address, it's paradise@vvv-gaming.com. Send me any feedback you have there. Or if you want to contact us on Twitter, all of our Twitter names are right here at the bottom of our frames. So contact us, tweet us, let us know your thoughts. We continuously want to improve the show for you. Look at him. What are you pointing down at? Stop that.
I'm pointing at my Twitter.
That's naughty. You're not allowed to do that. That's just inappropriate. Inappropriate. I don't. Aww, poor Fred. I liked having you on the show. It's been good, Fred. Thank you so much for joining us again this week, guys. Enter the Diablo contest. You've still got a week. Go win some awesome SteelSeries gear. That's going on until Monday night, so I better see some awesome entries before we do our Anaheim preview next week. Have a great weekend. Play some games. If you're on League of Legends, you'll probably see me there as well. Add me, VVV Paradise. I'll be bad and play with you. Oh, one last thing. King of the Summoners Hill 5 this weekend. We got our next solo tournament for League of Legends. Come play in it this Saturday, June 2nd. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to kick your butt if you're in there. You just wait. I'm ready.
Don't let that happen. If you're watching and you play LOL, don't let that happen. I want to be able to rub it in his face. Where is he? Is he like that way? Up there? Yes.
You're getting the hang of this.
Don't let him win. Because if he loses and he's all bragging, I'm going to be able to throw it in his face.
On that note, I'm throwing it in your face, FourthOracle, by ending the show. Have a great week, everyone. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.